So what exactly is a chicken brooder and how do you set it up? What supplies will you need to start raising your chickens? Well, let's hop inside one of our brooders and check it out.
So the whole idea of a brooder is to keep these chicks warm and safe, just like their mom would. But in this case, since these chicks don't have their mom with them, the brooder is doing the job for them. And the whole idea of the brooder is to really house these chickens, keep them safe, and do what their mom would do for the first few weeks of their life. At this stage in the game, they don't have feathers, so they can't regulate their own body temperature. And that's where this brooder comes in. Not only will it keep them safe, but you can see we have heat lamps in here. These heat lamps will act as a heat source that they can come in and out. Right now, it's not that cold, so you can see not a whole lot of them are bundled up underneath the heat lamps. We can actually probably turn them off right now. And since these chicks don't have feathers and can't regulate their own body temperature just yet, they would use these lights to do that for them in the same way that they would use their mom. If they get cold, they'll go under the lights. If they get too hot, they'll come out into a cooler zone. So we create different temperature zones so they can go in and out and regulate their body temperature as they see fit. Now the chicks really only need to be in here till they can get feathered out and they can withstand colder temperatures and then go outside. These here are Cornish cross meat birds. These guys really, by 3 weeks, they should be ready for the outdoors, give or take a little depending on weather. It could vary by breed, but really once they get feathers, that's your cue. They can go outside. Again, the whole idea here is to keep them warm, but as they age, you can drop the temperatures down. Right now we have 3 heat lamps in here. As they age, we may turn one off, and then maybe a second off. And finally, they won't need any heat lamps at all. So what exactly do you need to set up a brooder like this? Well, first you would need the brooder itself, obviously. In this case, we're inside a small Amish-built chicken coop, but it doesn't have to be something like this. Some people just use a box or a Rubbermaid tote. If you do that, however, make sure there's some way to keep them safe on the top, such as like a lid with wire mesh. That'll keep them from jumping out and keep them safe in case you have cats. A lot of the supplies we use inside the brooder, I have listed down in the description below. But first off, we'll start with the lights. We use these heat lamps with red bulbs. The reason why we use red bulbs is because we want natural lights. You'll notice there's windows here. Even if you're raising them indoors, it's wise to put them next to a window so that they can experience a natural light cycle. It's a bad idea to have light on them all the time. We want there to be a natural light pattern. Light during the day, dark at night. These red lights don't mess with their sleep patterns, so they get an appropriate amount of rest. Next is our feeders, which you can see we just use these trays here, but we like using these, and they do have a lid on them too you can use so they don't spill a lot of the feed out. And for our waterers, we use these. Now when the chicks are small, it's important that you get a waterer that doesn't have a big area that they can crawl into for the water. As they age, you can move up and get bigger waterers to supply their needs. Some people, if they have a water that the entire chick can fit in the water trough, you can put rocks in there so none of your chicks will drown. You'd also want to get some grit. Really, you can get this from the stream. If you have a stream near your house or some just small gravel or sand, the whole purpose of this is to help your chicks digest their food. Chicks don't have teeth. Instead, what they do is they rely on something called a gizzard. Along with the food they eat, they will also eat grits, such as small rocks. And the food they eat, along with the small rocks, goes into a muscle that will contract, and those rocks will grind their food for them, acting as their teeth. And that's what helps them digest their foods. Now for the bedding, you want to use wood chips. I don't recommend straw at all. It mats down and it becomes very hard to clean, and it doesn't decompose as well as wood chips does. And a little trick is don't always clean out all of the bedding from your previous litters. And even as they soil this litter, don't clean it out. Just add more wood chips. There's a whole video on why we do that, which I'll link to right here, as well in the description below. Once the chicks move out, you can then use this bedding in your gardens or just spread it over your lawn and it'll help fertilize your lawn. Once you have all your materials and you need your brooder set up, what you want to do is create your heating zones. So I'd put all your lights in one area, preferably away from the sides so they don't get smushed up against the side. Then I would put your feeders and waters away from the lights. This way your heat lamps don't heat up your water, and they also have different temperature zones which they can go in and out of.
If you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, hit that like button down below and subscribe to our channel. We'll be bringing you a lot more videos like this. And if there's a topic that you want to see covered, let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and until next time.